guys, so I'm Rebecca. I'm the student engagement intern here at the Johnson Museum, and today I'm videoing from the 17th century Dutch art gallery on the second floor. So today we'll be talking about the painting behind me, Vanitas from 1650 by David Bailey. So to understand this piece, you really need to understand what was going on in the Netherlands at the time. So this period, the 17th century, the 1600s, was known as the Dutch Golden Age. This is a time when, for the first time ever in Holland, as it was known then, and to an extent is known today, that a middle class was emerging. So this was a class that had its own source of income and that had expendable wealth. And that expendable wealth is what is important. So where was this expendable wealth coming from? It was coming from trade. The Dutch East Indies Company, and all of its fame and all of its infamy, was beginning to really go around the globe at this time. And so there was this awareness of many cultures going on, and of the quote-unquote foreign and exotic. So you would have this middle class that was trying to establish itself, and they had expendable money. So what do? They buy art. They educate themselves. They buy things that show that they are this erudite, educated art class. So what did that look like? We actually are very lucky because we have this case that I'm standing next to right now. It is our modern version of what's called a curiosity cabinet. Fun side fact, these little cabinets here are actually the precursors to the museum as we know it today. So keep that in mind of the scale of this little thing to this giant building I'm standing in. So as you can see here, there's actually items from all over the world, and these are the type of items that would have been collected. So we have a Netscape from Japan, we have Roman glass, we have a nautilus shell, an ostrich egg, just anything they could get their hands on from this massive trade and maritime economy the Dutch had. They bought, they collected, and they showed off. So how do they show off? In addition to these physical displays, they would also make paintings like this. Paintings like this are called Vanitas, and Vanitas roughly translates to vanities. And so why would these paintings of showing off be called vanities, besides the obvious reasons? That's because at this time, Calvinism was a huge influence on Dutch society, and Calvinism had this idea of predestination. And predestination meant that basically where you were going in the afterlife, heaven, hell, or somewhere in between, was predetermined. You yourself had nothing to do with it. But a way to kind of get a guess on where you were going was how wealthy you were. So of course, a middle class with expendable wealth would want to show off. So how would they do that? They would commission paintings like this. Paintings like this, you can see, it's a still life. Effectively speaking, we'll get to the young man in the back in a second. And these would have all of these items. You can see here there's a shell, there's dice blocks, there's a compass, instruments, candles, lots of images that all have these symbolic connotations of wealth, of knowledge, and on top of that, they also have connotations of memento mori. And memento mori literally like reminders of death. Essentially, we're part of this whole Calvinist influence of society because on the one hand, you wanted to show off your wealth and your education, but on the other hand, bragging was bad. You wanted to be humble, and so people would include these reminders of death, like, hey, yeah, you got all this wealth, but remember you're gonna die one day. And so these would be included in these paintings. Actually, down below in the links, there's going to be an image of this painting up close for you guys, as well as an I Spy list for you guys to go try to find as many of these items as you can. But basically, to give you an idea of how memento mori function, my favorite one, besides the obvious skull right in the center, is actually, one of them is right here. You can see right here, there's a lit fuse. So, a lit fuse, a fuse burning out towards its end. A little on the nose, but life continuing on to its conclusion, aka death, memento mori. And bubbles. Bubbles are effervescent. You can pop them and they disappear. Another reminder. And so this painting, in beyond just being like a show-off piece and a showcase piece and a memento mori, also is, from what we know, is probably a memorial to somebody who passed away recently, likely a musician. And that is because this instrument right here, I believe it's a mandolin, but I'll be honest, I'm not sure on that one, it's actually flipped over so you can't see the strings. And because it's flipped over and you can't see the strings, that was often a symbolic message of this is a memorial as well. So now, like I said, I get to the young man in the background. So Dutch 17th century, trade, maritime economy, and colonialism. So this was a time when the Dutch were expanding their interests, expanding their wealth, particularly to our 21st century sensibilities. They were doing and considering a lot of other people in ways that were just highly exoticizing and very racist and dehumanizing in how they would treat them. So this is a still life. It is a demonstration of pieces and of the things you've collected from around the world. Why is this young man here? So to our 21st century selves, that's like, oh my God, this is very wrong. This is bad. Like, this is colonialism at its worst. This servant boy being here as an exotic piece collected by whoever commissioned this. So it's a beautiful painting with a fascinating history, but it's also an idea of how all of this trade and cultural change also came with a lot of problematic things. So hopefully you learned a thing or two from this video, and if you ever get a chance to come to the Johnson in person, I hope you take a moment to come up here and stop in this room. Thank you guys.